I have played over 120 hours of my time at Sandrock, and it is safe to say that there is no other game quite like it on the market right now. But what makes it so unique, and most importantly, is it worth buying in 2025? My Time at Sandrock is the successor to My Time at Portia and falls under the cozy game umbrella alongside titles like Stardew Valley, Coral Island, Fields of Mystria, the list goes on. But what makes Sandrock stand out is how it builds on the genre. It falls somewhere between the usual casual chilled out games where you make your own pace and more mission-based narrative-focused games like Sunhaven, with gameplay you'd expect from cozy games, plus voiced dialogue and cutscenes. Basically, it has all of the somewhat grindy chores you're used to, with between 82 to 155 hours of main and side missions to complete. So it's safe to say that this game is worth the $40 price tag, although it does go on a 20% discount every now and then. And honestly, with My Time at Evershine slated to come out in spring 2026, it's a very, very good time for you to catch up on the story so far. But first, let's talk more about what to expect when playing the game, what its multiplayer experience is like, and whether the DLCs are worth buying. The beginning of My Time at Sandrock is on par with almost every other cozy life sim I can think of. You have the bright idea to move to the middle of nowhere and are given the worst piece of real estate in the entire town. What sets Sandrock apart though is the dynamic western setting, with the town being in the middle of the desert. The incredibly hot climate means trees are off limits and water is very expensive. But somehow you still need to find wood and dew to keep your workshop running. Your goal is to restore the town to its former glory, and the game is suitable for anyone 10 years of age or older. But it does have dark underlying themes of war and greed, and it's set in a world where the apocalypse has been and gone, which adds a lot of depth to the backstories of the town and its inhabitants, whilst still remaining an incredibly light-hearted and hope-filled game. It's perfectly balanced to have those themes which almost reflect our own world today, while still maintaining a truly serene atmosphere and beautiful cinematic moments. I honestly found Sandrock really easy to play as someone who loves other cozy life simulation games, but it did take me a little while to wrap my brain around all the different menus, finding and tracking quests, remembering to research new blueprints, and increasing my workshop's rating and ranking. The initial confusion was pretty quickly turned into the norm though, and if you need some extra help, you can let me know in the comments and I will make a guide on how to get started in the game. The character creator is excellent, especially when it comes to customizing hair, with lots of options for hairstyles, makeup, and skin details. And after a short while of playing through the main missions, you will be able to change your hair and makeup for money, which I liked for the role-playing potential of my character changing as the story progressed, but you may like it because you want a goofy or cute-looking character. I will say that gathering materials can be very grindy, especially for those which are rarer to find in the ruins, which are the equivalent of dungeons in Sandrock. And you can expect the usual chores of logging, mining, and crafting, with the addition of building machines and structures as you are the town's newest builder. The fishing and fighting are significantly easier than similar games, and the farming doesn't take up a huge chunk of your day, which gives you extra time to complete community requests like commissions and to socialize with all of the neighbors who always want something from you. Befriending neighbours is one of my favourite parts about this game because every character has lore to unlock through dialogue and development, and you could date, marry and have babies with a lot of them if that's what you're interested in. Having a spouse means you can get a bit more done around the workshop, whilst having kids means you spend more money on nappies and toys. It is a life sim after all. Building relationships can be done by the usual chatting daily and gifting liked items, but also via a card minigame called Critters and by beating people up. And of course, the more they like you, the more benefits you get, like shop discounts or gifts in the mail. However, one of my biggest criticisms of My Time at Sandrock is that some of the characters just aren't fleshed out enough. Sometimes it was really frustrating to be so interested in a particular character's backstory only to find out that it wasn't further developed, and at times seemed thrown into the game for the sake of having something there, whilst more popular characters got whole storylines and side missions to complete. If you are new to the game, do not look up the romance candidates unless you are willing to be spoiled. I made the mistake of looking them up before my playthrough, and it honestly changed the game for me because I was always trying to guess when new characters would show up and what role they'd play in town when they did. Fans of interior and exterior decoration will enjoy expanding their workshop, as there is space around your home to purchase for extra room and a lot of nice furniture items to decorate with inside and out. Or you could just squeeze all of your custom built machines or chests into any space it fits in and panic when you need more room because you've run out of storage and need more dew collectors. I'm not here to judge. As you level up, you get points put into a skill tree, which you will eventually fully complete, so there isn't a massive stress over putting your points into the right skills. I loved seeing the seasons change as I played too, bringing different weather and also holidays and festivals, which had different mini games to play for a range of prizes. I really enjoyed the Halloween style event where we had to play prop hunt because I kind of ran around panicking about how to hide before I figured it out, which was really fun. My overall favourite thing about my time at Sandrock was the story. It has an incredible story and so much lore. I loved uncovering all of this new information about the people who used to live here, what each ruin used to be before the apocalypse, how the town came to be, and even the political relations with neighbouring nations which can be discovered throughout the game. The game's story has 3 distinct acts throughout the narrative, and as the story progresses, so do our neighbours' thoughts and motives. It's really cool to look at how everyone changes with time and the work you've been doing. And honestly, some of the neighbours became a lot more likeable as time went on. If you like what you've heard so far and you're thinking about buying Sandrock for its multiplayer, you may be disappointed because the single player and the multiplayer stories are completely different. Sandrock's multiplayer is still a fun game to play with friends, but if you want to experience my time at Sandrock storyline in its entirety, you need to play the whole game in its single player first. You can still complete some missions, romance neighbours, and play mini-games, but your reason for moving to Sandrock has changed, and it just isn't the same narrative experience. So if you're looking to purchase this game for its multiplayer, go into it knowing that it's not the same depth of story as the single player, but instead a new, fun experience to share with your friends. I did find that there were occasional glitches where I'd have to restart the day, and my camera sometimes shoved me into some interesting places whilst I was trying to talk to people, but other than wanting a bit more depth in some characters and wishing all of the dialogue was voiced, there isn't really anything major that I would change about the game. Sure, the grind can be a bit too grindy, the missions can feel overwhelming when there are a few happening at the same time, and all of the menus can be difficult to navigate when you're a new player, but once you've taken the time to look through everything, it's relatively self-explanatory. The devs appear to be fairly active in making my time at Sandrock better, with the last update for the game being in December 2024, as the team are working on their next project, and they released their most recent DLC in October 2024. When it comes to DLC, their Monster Hunter DLC allows you to capture various monsters to keep as pets, which makes early gameplay a lot easier if you aren't a fan of grinding because they can bring you important resources. And I think that being able to catch your own pets is worth the money, although it isn't accessible on multiplayer. The Love Chronicles DLC is not as popular, as it gives a short mission extension and extra background information on 4 of the 21 romance candidates, and players are mixed on whether the amount of content you get is worth the money. In my opinion, it is worth it if you want to know more about the characters or are planning on playing all 4 of the new missions. And I think the price is fair for the work that was put into writing each voice line and story, creating new interactions, and bringing back the voice actors we love. However, it is not available in multiplayer, and if you play it, I believe it should be played after you've completed the full romance storyline of each character in the DLC. Once again, if you do not want to be spoiled at all, do not look at this particular DLC. There are also a few DLCs with more outfits for yourself or for your neighbours, which can be used in multiplayer, but they can't be seen or used by others without the DLC. A few DLCs are available with added decor, which can be used in multiplayer, as well as a DLC with a cute little pet gecko for single player saves only. And a couple of these DLC come with the deluxe version of the game if you want more clothes and decorating options, as well as the cute gecko. But honestly, the game is still really good without them. Overall, I would say that yes, my time at Sandrock is definitely worth purchasing in 2025, and if you'd like to see future My Time at Evershine updates, or how I plan to prepare for the upcoming release, be sure to leave a like, let me know what you want to know more about in the comments, and subscribe for more.